I'll be starting with Forest Rights Act. Are you aware of this Forest Rights Act? And just give me your response if you are aware of it. Otherwise, do not worry. You will be aware about it by the end of this lecture. Yes, you are aware. Very good. Because there are so many times that aspirants in the political class, they hear this that we'll be doing it in the environment, and in the environment class, they hear that we'll be doing it in the polity section, and most of the times ये रह जाता है, and UPSC consider this topic as very very important. So we'll be discussing Forest Right Act. It is a very difficult topic, so be patient and try to focus upon it. Now, Forest Right Act. The first question that may be from this topic is in which year it was enacted. So it was enacted in 2006. So you must also remember the chronology that when the Environmental Protection Act was enacted, when was the Wildlife Protection Act was enacted, when was the Indian Forest Act was enacted. So as per the act's chronology is very, very important. UPSC has asked it in the previous years also. Now, why Forest Right Act we are reading? Because it was enacted in the year 2006. Why it is important for us? This is also need to be understood. So it is important because Supreme Court in the year 2019 asked the people to be asked the government to remove people from the forest areas which are not taken by the forest dwellers. It means the people who are not considered as forest dwellers, those people should be evacuated from the forest region. At the same time, the government through the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change proposed certain amendments in the Indian Forest Act 1927, which were perceived to be contradictory to the Forest Right Act. Remember, we are saying that they were perceived to be contradictory. And second thing, now those proposed amendments, they have been withdrawn. So do not worry about it. Now, what is Forest Right Act 2006? So this act deals with the scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers, and it recognizes the rights of those scheduled tribes and other people who are living in the forest. So it is the act that deals only with the forest dwellers. They can be either tribal, scheduled tribes, or they can be non-tribals. This act is also known as the Forest Rights Act. This act is also known as Tribal Rights Act, the Tribal Bill, and the Tribal Land Act. So any of the name, if you see in your paper, that is directly pointing towards the Forest Rights Act 2006. Now, this law, it concerns with the forest dwelling communities. Who are forest dwellers? In simple language, dwelling means where you are living. So the people who are living in forest, they are called as the forest dwelling communities. The law provides the land and other resources that were denied to them over decades as a result of colonial policy. It means this act was enacted to redress the historical injustice that was committed against the forest dwellers, and they are also including the provisions of conservation in this Forest Right Act. So understand, it is not only to redress the historical injustice, this act is also to provide conservation of forest and wildlife with the transparency in the system. The question is, who are eligible for these rights? Now we know that there are certain laws that will be provided for the people, but to whom? So the people who are eligible, they are to be fulfilling the eligibility provided under Section 2C of the Forest Rights Act. You do not need to remember which section, but for the sake of providing you exact information, I'm using this section. You do not need to remember. So they are divided into two sections. First is forest dwelling scheduled tribes. Another is other forest dwelling communities. So first we will discuss the qualifications or eligibility for the forest dwelling scheduled tribes. Now whatever conditions I am telling you, you do not need to identify only one condition. If all the three conditions are fulfilled, then only those people are eligible for those rights. So the first condition is the community must be a scheduled tribe in that area where the rights is to be claimed. Let us take an example. If the right is to be claimed in the state of Rajasthan, a community that is considered as a scheduled tribe in the state of Nagaland will not be eligible under this act. That has to be a scheduled tribe in that area itself. Second, they have been residing in that region primarily for a period which is prior to 13th December 2005, the day which was given as the limit of forest dwelling in that region. So the people should be primarily residing in the forest. That does not mean that a tribe is there in that state, but they are not residing in the region. Let us take an example that if a tribe is recognized in that state, but that tribe is not living in the forest, they are not eligible. And the third condition that is to be fulfilled, they are dependent upon the forest for the bona fide livelihood needs. It means they should not only be recognized tribes, they should be residing in that region prior to the date, and also they should be dependent upon the forest or the forest land for their livelihood. For example, a tribe is residing in the forest, but that the people of that tribe, they are working in urban areas and they are not dependent upon the forest, then they are not eligible under this act. This is for the forest dwelling scheduled tribe. For the other traditional forest dwellers, these two conditions has to be fulfilled. The first condition is that they have primarily resided in forest or the forest land for at least 3 generations prior to the cutoff date. The cutoff date is 13 December 2005. You do not need to remember the cutoff date. You just need to remember that they have to be a primarily resident of the forest region for 3 generations. Now the question that comes into your mind is why 75? Because one generation is considered as 25, and that is why 3 generations are taken, which is 75. And they have to be dependent upon the forest and forest land for bona fide livelihood. If a community fulfill these two conditions, then they will be considered as other traditional forest dweller. Another important section that is provided in this act is if any member or community is recognized as other traditional forest dweller, then individuals of that community no need to prove their eligibility under this act. If the community is recognized, the individuals are automatically recognized. So this is also important. I am expecting this exact verbatim statement as a question. This is my expectation. Now, when we have identified who are eligible, now let us go to the rights. That after this eligibility, what rights are available? Please do not scribble. Request. We are requesting. Please do not do that.
सर annotations में भी आप इसको बंद कर सकते हैं for allowing anyone to scribble.
Okay, sir. Now, who are eligible? Let us say who are eligible for whatever rights we have discussed right now. So the people who are eligible, they are eligible for title rights. Title rights means the land on which they were living and the land on which their livelihood was dependent. That land will belong to those either forest dwelling tribal communities or the other forest dwelling communities. Given that the ownership should not be for more than 4 hectares and that land should have been actually cultivated by the concerned family as on that date. That date here means 13 December 2005. It means after that date, no new land will be granted. So if we simplify it, आप अगर वहां पर रह रहे हैं as a forest tribe, तो उस लैंड पे अगर आप कल्टीवेशन कर रहे हैं एंड दैट लैंड इज नॉट मोर देन 4 हेक्टेयर्स, तो वो लैंड आपका होगा अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस एक्ट। अगर आप नॉन ट्राइबल फॉरेस्ट ड्वेलर हैं, आप 3 जनरेशन से वहां रह रहे हैं, आप कल्टीवेशन कर रहे हैं, तो वो लैंड आपका होगा इफ इट इज फॉर मैक्सिमम 4 हेक्टेयर्स। उस डेट के बाद कोई भी लैंड ग्रांट नहीं होगा, तो लैंड ओनिंग राइट्स प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं। Second is use rights. Use is only permitted for minor forest produce, which also includes ownership. Minor forest produce means leaves, fruits, and also bamboo. माइनर फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस आप कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, सेल कर सकते हैं, एंड उसको सेल करने की ओनरशिप सारी आपकी है. यू डू नॉट नीड टू गिव एनी रॉयल्टी टू द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. This is important because on the basis of this only, in the year 2019, there was a question from Forest Rights Act. Now, the community will also have relief and development rights. It means rehabilitation will be provided in case of illegal eviction or forced displacement. And if any such activity happens, then they will be provided basic amenities which will be subjected to restrictions for forest protection. So they are having their rehabilitation rights also. And also the forest and wildlife has to be managed, and that means it is a right along with sustainable development. So these are the rights that are available under Forest Rights Act. Now, how the rights are recognized? Who will recognize which communities are eligible and which communities or individuals are fulfilling those conditions in order to enjoy the before mentioned rights? So the section 6 of this act gives this power to Gram Sabha. The term is Gram Sabha. It is not Gram Panchayat. In the polity, basic polity, you must be aware about the difference between village panchayat, Gram Panchayat, or Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha is eligible to identify and recommend those who will be fulfilling the criteria. And when the Gram Sabha has made the recommendation, that recommendation will go through two stages. First will be at the taluka level, and second will be at the district level. At these two levels, there will be screening committees set up at the taluka level, at the district level. These screening committee will be consisting of 6 members. Each committee will be having 6 members, where 3 government officers will be there and 3 elected representatives will be there. The government officers will be from the forest department, revenue department, and tribal welfare department. And the elected persons can be from panchayats also and legislature also. And the power to make the final decision will lie with the district level committee. So it is the district level committee that will make the final decision in order to identify the beneficiary or the people who will be getting the rights under this act. If any person has any complaint regarding the false acquisition of rights, then there can be complaints against that acquisition to the committees. The committees at the taluka level, at the same time at the district level. And as I have mentioned, the power to decide the eligibility lie with the district level committee. And once the land is recognized, it cannot be sold, it cannot be transferred. This statement is also very, very important. The land that is recognized under this act, it is non-transferable. That land cannot be sold. So this can also be a part of the question statement. Now, I hope you have understood the Forest Right Act, and I have tried to frame 2 questions from this. So try to answer these questions. First is, what do you understand by NISTAR? First is a recently discovered neutron star. Second, navigation satellite. Third, a name for community rights given in forest and agricultural lands. And fourth, a recently discovered species of turtle. So please post your answers. Yes, everyone is giving the right answer because it is very logical that we are not discussing science and technology here. So you are smart enough to identify that the answer to this is C. It is the name of the community rights that were used in the colonial times as per the state. So most of the places, community rights over the land ownership were also called as NISTAR. As per the recent amendment to the Indian Forest Act 1927, forest dwellers have the right to fell the bamboos grown on forest areas. Second statement, as per the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act, Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006, bamboo is a minor forest produce. Third, the Act allows ownership of minor forest produce to forest dwellers. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 3 only, and D, or 1, 2 and 3 all. The question is asking that as per the recent amendment, forest dwellers have the right to fell the bamboos grown on forest areas. So the amendment has only made change in the right to fell bamboos grown on non-forest areas, and still the bamboos grown on forest areas, they are considered as tree. So the answer to this question will be B, 2 and 3 only. Okay, so it is not all, it is 2 and 3 only. Had there been non-forest areas, then statement 1 would have been correct. So the answer is 2 and 3 only.